Today we'll be looking at Lego Star Wars, the visual dictionary. We got a nice big thing of Darth Vader's minifigure, a couple Lego Star Wars models, and of course this was a library book, so the minifigure is missing because whoever donated the book probably kept the valuable minifigure. Opening it up, and then we'll get to this later, but you can see this book was donated in 2017, so it's an older book. So you're not going to find this at a bookstore or Amazon. You're going to have to go to eBay or a secondhand seller. But the first page, we kind of have a breakdown of Slave 1, and not the Lego pieces used, but the different parts of the actual ship that these pieces are representing. And then we have the chapters, table of contents, the introduction. And now the publication was said first published in 2009. And the introduction talks about how Star Wars came out in 1999 for the first time. So this book was kind of this 10-year celebration of the Lego Star Wars theme. And now we're over 20 years later from when it first came out, and it's still as strong as ever. So it really is a lasting theme, not only for Lego, but just the Star Wars theme itself. Even without Disney, it would have been going strong. And the way they break this chapter up here is you get to see like all the sets through the different years. So we start on the left and we're moving right to 2002. But then you go down and they separate it further by the actual like where you found these vehicles. So episode 1, you've got episode 4, 5, and 6. And what I thought was interesting was that they actually had a couple Lego Mindstorm sets, which until I had opened this book, I never knew about. So I don't know if they weren't popular or what, but I had never heard of the Lego Mindstorm sets. And then we go down further and you can kind of see episode 2 comes in here, episode 3. Now we're not going to see episode 6 or 7, 8, and 9 because those had not come out yet. Disney still did not own it, and Lucas was not making any more films. And now, even though those books said first published in 2009, you're going to notice a 2010 set list here, and that's probably because Lego thinks about these sets years in advance. So they probably knew they were going to release these before they published the book. And then chapter 1 is the movie saga. So we have a nice little diorama of sets from the Clone Wars. And we open up and we kind of see these older figures like Anakin and Padme and these yellow minifigure skin tones. And yes, this book does kind of get the regular skin tones in here, as you can see with Anakin over here, but you can just tell like the detail is improved. You know, this is 10 years from the Star Wars theme opening, and now we're over 10 years past that, and you just see that better printing technology going on. And you can also kind of see the development of the sets themselves, and we'll get a little earlier, but here we kind of break down who the character is and what they were, and then these are the facts about the set. So it's not the year about the vehicle itself, but it's more about the set. And then here's a little tidbit about the vehicle so you know something a little bit about it. And then you've got, you know, there's Jedi Knights get a whole theme, and as we know, that Jedi cast has grown significantly as Lego goes on. But this is like what really shows kind of like how Lego is developed. Like here's that first Sith infiltrator in 1999, and then here's one they made in 2007. You just see the design quality that has improved over the years. But when we get to the end of the book, I'm kind of address that with how they talk about making these sets. And you've got the pod racers, General Grievous, or definitely in like episode 1, and they're so far kind of moving more chronologically. So even though we've got Jango Fett, we've got young Boba Fett, and of course the Boba Fett minifigure. And then these little facts are about the sets and figures. And then one of the things I love about these books also is for me and my micro builds. I'm like, oh, I still haven't done a droid tri-fighter. I gotta do that in micro scale. I'm actually working on a General Grievous bike right now. And then we have the battle droids history, and about the battle droids, the different weaponry and their transports, the droidicas. And then we've got the Republic Army and their different vehicles. And you know, since the Clone Wars cartoon came out, that has grown significantly. We've got our clone troopers and kind of how they've been redesigned over the years. We got our Wookiee vehicles, Luke Skywalker, because you know he's had quite a history. Now they're talking about how even though this is like a generic Skyhopper pilot, maybe it is Luke Skywalker. We don't know. He's in a mask. And you got a little thing here for the. Try to get this with the camera. It's gonna be a little difficult, but I'll move it down. You kind of see how you move it there. Yeah. Big book, small table. It's an issue. Got the Millennium Falcon. Of course, we had so many different designs for the Millennium Falcon, but you can see those improvements over the years. Emperor Palpatine. And so I actually saw this set reviewed by Brick Life Crisis, and that was really cool. Check out his channel, by the way, if you ever can. He does a lot of great set reviews, and just a really nice guy and a great YouTuber. Got the Darth Vader Rehabilitation Center, and it's funny because this was actually a free giveaway at like a Comic-Con, and then we got to buy it years later, and here you're going to get to see that difference in the TIE Advanced Fire in 1999 versus 2008. And that's one of my favorite things about these books, just seeing that design. They really break down the Death Star here. And this is before the whole controversy where they re-released it, but more expensive with more pieces. We got one of these other pages here. We got the Imperial Walker, ATSTs, and kind of the Hoth battle, the Imperial Navy. And I am glad we moved away from these blue colorings. I never liked that blue coloring. Got the Star Destroyers, Cloud City. They haven't been made Cloud City sets, I'm surprised about. And then the Echo Base. Of course, there's been lots of Echo Base. Probably the AT-ATs and Imperial Walkers. Jabba's Palace. I'd love to see more Jabba Palace stuff too in the future. His sail barge. The Battle of Endor. And now the Clone Wars. So maybe they did have the cartoon by the time this came out. Yep, yeah, they did. Because there's Twilight, the Twilight vehicle, and you got the Clone Wars. So that was my mistake. I forgot about that, and clearly I forgot when I flipped this book. There's always, read them before this. But yeah, we got different vehicles from the droids, and now specialist sets. And I remember back before I was buying, we've got the mini sets here, which of course I love, just to see how you can make these things smaller and smaller and smaller. But it was these Technics that I could never get into. And I'm glad they kind of stopped making them, because like that R2-D2 just looks like something that it's like more like abstract art than R2-D2. And Darth Vader was okay, but he kind of looked more reminded me more of a Cylon than Darth Vader. And then the Ultimate Collector sets, which have really grown in scale and size and detail. When you can kind of see this Tantive 4 versus the new one that was just released. And even these sculptures, like you see the Baby Yoda and the IG-88, and just how much more detailed those sets have become. Some of the larger sets here, more expensive for people to buy. And then beyond the brick, this is something I really found interesting. We're talking about how like these sets are getting kind of more and more detailed. And here they actually talk about like, what is the process to get a new piece made? And they're like, well, yeah, because sometimes you're like, okay, well, I can't really build this with the pieces we have. I would really need a piece like this to properly make the wing. And, they just talk about how they have to submit the proposal and will it pass? Can they do it? And I guess there's like the design team themselves, like 2 to 7 people, kind of depending on the project. But this is really interesting. This is like how they go about building it. This is the behind the scenes of the Lego Star Wars, minds that create what we buy. And then here we've got the merchandising, because as Yogurt likes to say, merchandise and merchandising. We got merchandising for the toys. Yeah, you got toys and you get to buy more toys, but in watches and video games and magnets. And then the community. This is what fans have built over the years. And like, there was one thing here, I can't remember, I think it was this Echo Base. It took somebody, let's see, it said, let's see if I can find where it was. They made it, it took something like months for them to build, or years, and I can't find that quote right now because I'm looking for it, so I'll go back and put that thing. And then we have the acknowledgement and what this book came from. But again, this is just a really fun little book to thumb through because it's history. It's like this was celebrating the 10 years of Star Wars, and now we're here 20 plus years later, and you just get to see these sets. So I do love going through these older books.
If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe or check out some of our other videos. Until next time, let's keep building together.